Just got done playing with my dog. I'm in an empty room. Well, pretty much an empty room. Oh, I'm so out of breath. And about to clock in for work. But we just took a little video so I could get some pictures of me with my protector here. We had a field mice issue. I thought that maybe it had corrected itself, but today my dog kept barking and I just couldn't figure out why. And I went into the kitchen and I looked, and my cat was in there with a little tiny mouse in his mouth. I did follow him around until he finally dropped it, and then I put the mouse, well, it immediately ran into the little box that I had. But unfortunately, I don't know if maybe he shook it up too much or what, but it didn't make it. I put it outside so no animals could mess with it in that box, but I think he just damaged it too much. It was really sad. But it's nice to know that my house cats are not so stupid. Come here. Yeah, because that happens. Little baby. But yeah. So I'm about to go to work, and I have some few other things that I'm supposed to do, and I just cannot place a finger on it. I am like, have you ever been on antibiotics and it's like every time you try to eat you get nauseous, and then you're nauseous and you're not even like, nothing comes up because you can't eat anything. But I know you're supposed to eat something whenever you take the antibiotics, but I gastric bypass, which makes it hard for me to eat in general. So the antibiotics seem to make it just that much worse. Oh my goodness. But yeah, I'll get it together soon, I think. Bladder infections just suck. They just suck so much. Hi. Hi. He usually gives a lot of kisses, but after having a mouse in his mouth today, I'm just not in it. Come on, dummy. So I'm gonna go clock in, and I'm working for a couple hours. I'm off an hour, and then I'm working a few more hours. I have a weird hours tonight, actually. I'm off at 10 o'clock instead of midnight, so that's different. So I'm gonna go do that. And I think I might hit the gym afterwards, so if I do, I might be doing a video in between just while I'm working, but I will record before and after the gym, if I can remember. I'm really bad at remembering things. And that comes with just having a lot of concussions, so I can talk about that actually today in the car. I've been trying to think of stories. I was watching Christina Randall, I believe is her name, and she's a storyteller like I am, and she's going through all these things she did as a young person and a teenager, none of which I would want anybody to follow my footsteps in, but maybe you can learn from my mistakes, I guess. But I did a whole lot of bad stuff, and I just think they would be influential in the way that people don't want to do what I did. And I feel like that's the only thing I'm kind of stuck with right now, is just me being like, you know what, if there's nothing else I can provide for anybody other than just motivation to be a better person, because I'm 32 and I'm not where I should be at 32. So just want to motivate people to live their lives a little bit better, not be as wild. I was so wild. But yeah, I'll talk to you soon. That's recording. All right, guys, I am sliding ice off the back of my car. That's what I'm doing. No, I'm on my way to Qdoba for an order, and I figured I had a little bit of time for a story time. And I hope that I'm loud enough. I'm trying not to sound stupid by being too loud, but also my car's kind of noisy, as well as shaky, and I'm not really quite sure how to fix that. Yeah, so story time. have so many stories that I am almost at a loss at where to start at. I was watching Christina Randall, and she was talking about all the things that she did as a child, and you know, kind of like influential in the manner of, hey, don't freaking do this. So yeah, I keep thinking about it and thinking about it and thinking about it and thinking about it. And with all of this stuff going on right now with like Onision and Jeffrey Epstein and everything like that, I kind of wanted to talk about my life when I was 15. Now, I mean, if you don't know me, then keep this in the back of your mind when I'm telling you this, that both of my parents left me as a child. I was raised by my grandparents until I was about 14 or 15 years old, when my mom got clean, actually. And so with that being said, being homeless and all of those things, I was like the stereotypical teenage girl that was lashing out. So my lashing out when I moved back in with my mom was mainly because she hadn't been in my life for so many years. All of those vital years, she wasn't a part of my life. So I really looked at her more as a friend, or I don't know. She wasn't my mother, if that makes sense. And so she had gone into recovery, and I'm not going to use any names or anything, but anybody that was a part of that whole situation knows exactly who I'm talking about. But so when I was 15, I was getting ready to turn 16. Not that that makes a huge difference, but in my head at the time, I thought that it did. And that being said, I started a relationship with a 39-year-old man. He was also in recovery, and I look back at it now and I see things like the woman he dated before me was like this very young looking woman. She was maybe in her 30s at the time, and she had children and stuff, but she was very tiny, very, very tiny. So now that I look at it more like, oh my God, like that was the aesthetic that this guy liked. He liked young looking women. And ultimately he went back to his wife, and I'm almost positive that they're still together. So like, good for them. Maybe he was just going through a hard time or something, but yeah. Before I turned 15, I went to Ocean City Beach with this guy. And mind you, my mom said, sure, go ahead. Go to the beach alone with this man. Nothing bad will happen. I have to run in and get this order. I will be right back. So anyway, I went to Ocean City Beach, Maryland, because I'm from the DC, Northern Virginia area. So I went to the beach with this guy, and probably the second day in, maybe, we had sex. I was 15 years old and he was 39. I remember a whole lot of, you can't tell anybody, I don't want to go to jail, I really like you. All of those things that I'm like reliving emotions about watching all this Jeffrey Epstein things and stuff like that. Because I know for a fact that if I had been propositioned at that time, at that age, in the situation that I was in, I definitely would have ended up on Pedophile Island. 110%. I didn't like where my life was going. I didn't like where my life had already been. I was trying to escape so badly, and I just wanted someone to take care of me. So yeah, I dated him for, I think it was about a year and a half, just about 2 years. Dated him. So dated him means he would take me places whenever, I guess he would tell people that, you know, he was going to a meeting. Oh my gosh. So he would be going to a meeting and I would be hanging out with him. I would be going out to eat with him. Eventually he got a house by himself when he was separated. And I would go stay over there. Like, I had no rules because I didn't accept that there were any. And I don't think that my mom was able to enforce any, because I wasn't going to listen to what she said at all. So yeah, this was the person that I have a wild story where I had sex on a boat during a hurricane. That was this person. I took pictures at 16 years old modeling over this person's motorcycle in a short skirt, and there was a lot of people around us that knew, but nobody said anything, because I think they knew that it wasn't going to matter. I was going to do what I wanted. My mom wasn't going to do anything about it because she was more worried about herself at that point. She had gotten pregnant 3 months into knowing some guy that she ended up marrying, but she got pregnant after 3 months of knowing him. So I really had no respect for her at all. I was just like, you're doing worse than I am. So and this person was also a part of when I got emancipated. He paid for part of a room or something from a friend of his that I lived with that was actually even older than him and also had sex with me when I was 16 or 17, I don't remember. And then after all that happened, I started dating the first guy's friend that was a couple years younger than him. I was still 17 also. I celebrated my 18th birthday with this guy. So all of these men knew I was underage. All of these men passed me around, and I thought that was love. And it's just amazing because I see these women now and I just know it crushes their hearts to think about how they looked at it then and how they look at it now. And it's everything that everybody always said. You're gonna regret this, you're gonna whatever. And while I don't necessarily regret it, I definitely wish I would have spent more time on myself and not seeking out fake love from people. And it also messed me up as an adult. So, now, I just got out of this marriage, but the whole marriage, I couldn't trust that he actually loved me. And there were actions on his half that also made me feel like he didn't love me. Some of which I probably overreacted, but I think a lot of which are secrets that I'll never know the answer to. And I'm okay with that. But it just made it really hard for me to learn to love anybody because of everything that I went through as a child. I didn't have a father that loved me. I had a grandfather that loved me. But how much could your grandfather really do? He tried his hardest, but he had gone blind by the point that I was about 8 years old. And I was out of control. I was that girl that, her parents left her and she was going to end up doing drugs or whatever. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's my story time. Watching all this Jeffrey Epstein stuff has been fucking me up. But, yeah, so when I was 15, I started having sex with a 39-year-old man. By the time I was 17, I had had sex with a 39-year-old man, as well as a 50-year-old man, as well as, at that point, the other guy was 38 or 39. All while I was underage. I lived in a whole nother state with one of them. And I guess it just hurts to know that, all you were kind of just a trophy. And how even I dragged all of that into my marriage. I thought that I was just supposed to be a trophy, I guess. And then when I fucked that up, it was now I can't even be that. I can't find love anywhere. I don't really honestly know if I know what love is besides loving my children. And it's just so weird. I'm some of these women too, where they're I was guided into this house and blah, 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 and kind of was just expected, and I was also in a couple of those situations as well, where it was just like expected, I guess, because I needed something, because I didn't have anything. I was 16, I was getting emancipated, I held a job, I was trying to go to school, which, by the way, I graduated with honors at home with a 3.8 GPA, doing correspondence courses through James Madison High School. And then, before I even got that, I had my GED. So I have 2 diplomas. I worked my ass off. But I just think it's crazy how many things now you think about where you're like, oh, it's not that bad in the moment, but then afterwards you're like, oh my God, what was I doing? So, I don't know. Just my story time. I mean, I have way more stories than that as far as these guys go, but it's also been opening my mind up to a lot of like what's going on in my mind and why I feel the certain ways that I feel, and why I don't know if I'm ever going to find love. A, because I don't think I want it, and B, because I'm not really quite sure what it is. So maybe if I figure out what it is, maybe I'll want it, but I don't know. My ex-husband used to tell me all the time that you can't love somebody if you don't trust them, and I don't trust anybody. Nobody. I don't trust anybody. And I feel like not like I rightfully should be able to not trust anybody, but I mean, I went through a whole lot of shit, and that's probably why I don't trust anybody. Like, I see all this shit about police officers and stuff too. Well, guess what? Homegirl over here don't trust them either. At all. How many police officers lied to my fucking face? I'm not saying all police officers are bad either. I'm saying I just don't trust anybody. But I'm gonna run in and get this Oda. And that's my story time for today. Bye.